Life, mental health, rare disease. That's what Never Give Up is all about. This podcast is a companion to my blog, pkujournal.com. I'm Kevin Alexander, and I've been a professional storyteller for over 20 years. I'm also an adult living with the rare disease phenylketonuria, or PKU. Since 2012, I've been traveling the world advocating for PKU, newborn screening, and rare disease awareness. Living with a rare disease can be a heavy burden. So, on this podcast, I share thoughts, reflections, and stories to motivate you on your journey. Last time I said I have a special episode coming soon from the road as I travel to an advocacy event. Well, that journey begins today. The day I release this episode, I'm getting on a plane, and late tomorrow afternoon, I'll arrive in Birmingham in the UK for the 2023 ESPKU conference. That's the European Society for PKU and Allied Disorders, treated as phenylketonuria. I'll post a lot of content on social media from the event, so if you don't already follow me, my contact info is in the show notes. And the next episode of this podcast will document this journey as I reflect on the power of community in our rare disease experience and interview some friends about their experience. I'll be there with some dear friends from the US, but it's also going to be an opportunity for me to reconnect with friends I haven't seen since the previous ESPKU conference I attended in Berlin in 2015. And there will be many people there that I've met on social media, but this will be our first time meeting in person. In that episode, I'm going to try to capture a little bit of the magic that happens when you get people together who are affected by the same rare disease, and that instant bond that you often feel. So, that episode won't be recorded here in the studio. It's going to be from the road, while I travel, from the conference, in the hotel, anywhere I can get a few moments with my microphone and capture some thoughts as things are happening. But today, I want to share a brief reflection with you. Something I thought about after the last big PKU conference I attended. Sometimes when I watch TV or a movie, I'm able to relax and just enjoy it. But often, I find myself thinking about the story and applying the themes to my life. Recently, I was watching an episode of Chicago Fire. If you're not familiar with it, the show follows, well, a group of firefighters in Chicago. In this episode, one of the main characters was leaving the show, moving across the country. As this group of friends gathered at a going-away party, you could see the grief in their eyes. Their friend was leaving forever, and life would never be the same. For some reason, that scene stuck with me. I haven't been able to get it out of my mind, and recently I realized why. I've spoken a lot on this podcast and on my blog about why the 2022 National PKU Alliance Conference meant so much to me. Because of the pandemic and other commitments before that, I had not been to a conference since 2016. All week, even though I was privately battling depression and anxiety, one of the worst resurgences of post-traumatic stress disorder that I had experienced in years, I was in the company of friends. I hung out with dear friends whom I've known for a long time, and finally met others in person I had only known on social media. I heard someone say this at the conference, and it's so true. All that PKU adults want to do is get together and talk. To be at a table with people who understand your life without having to speak a word, it's an indescribable feeling. These are friends that feel like family to me. We are scattered across the country, across the world, yet we talk to each other all the time. We've figured out a way to do life together, even though we live far apart. On that last day of the conference, after everything was over, a large group of us went to lunch together. Then we went for a walk down along the riverfront. I didn't want it to end. Yes, I do a lot of work in PKU advocacy. Many of us do. But at the end of the day, we are all just people living with PKU, trying to make the best of our rare disease experience. We might have work that we do in our community, but we also need support as we live our PKU lives. That support is essential. And on the last day of a conference like that, you can feel sad. Things are winding down and everyone is preparing to go home. And you realize, I have to say goodbye to these people soon. Recently, I heard someone say they were at an event in our community, observing how we interact with each other. And they were surprised to hear that we often live thousands of miles apart. Because we are so close to each other, the PKU community is a tight-knit group. We support each other, encourage each other, fight for each other. Geography can't separate us. And I see now how this is also true in the wider rare disease community. Yes, the world of rare diseases is quite large. There are over 10,000 rare diseases, hundreds of millions of us across the world. But there are countless opportunities to connect with others, even if they don't share your rare disease. So, when I think back to that scene from Chicago Fire, of those friends saying goodbye, and then I think about my friends in the PKU community, those I work with in advocacy, those I chat with on social media, those dear friends I turn to when times are tough. I realize that we never have to say goodbye.